Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hinnick.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort studio, here's Josh Hinnick.
Hump Day Wednesday edition here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Glad to have you guys on board the show today. Of course, a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg will join us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. We'll get you the latest on the Eagles and their injury report. All that and more here on 97.3 ESPN. And as always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. All right. We got a lot to get to here, and I will say that I am going to get to about the Eagles-Packers matchup because I thought there was some interesting information out there. Because the more I look at this game, the more confident I am in Philadelphia's chances to win it. But I know for a lot of you, you are curious about Jalen Hurts. Well, Nick Sirianni opened up his press conference today, and he basically let it out of the bag immediately. He was like, look, Jalen Hurts is practicing today. All right, everybody? Now shut up and stop asking me questions, is basically what he said. Because every follow-up question he got was, well, the injury report will come out later today. Well, you get the information later today. But he did not want to talk about Jalen Hurts except for to be like, he's at practice. Everyone shut up. And we have plenty of video, plenty of pictures out there. Hurts warming up on the field. Hurts going through quarterback drills. Hurts throwing the ball. And then the injury report. Jalen Hurts was officially a limited participant at practice along with A.J. Brown, Kenny Pickett, and Will Shipley. The only guy who didn't practice today was Trevor Keegan because he has an illness. Everyone was either limited or full participant. And we get back into the conversation about health. With Jalen Hurts back on the field, the Eagles are the healthiest they have been the entire several weeks that we have gone through. Pretty much since their bye week, they have not been this healthy. And you have to wonder for Philadelphia how much that resting of guys this past Sunday is going to come back and help them. How much is them resting their guys is going to benefit them. Because you see guys like Christian Watson and Zay Flowers and Jordan Love all getting banged up this past Sunday. You had this scare with Derrick Henry of the Ravens as well in their game. You have a lot of teams coming into the postseason with injury questions. Look, the Lions, Terry and Arnold, he got injured on Sunday Night Football, their top corner. So you have a lot of teams coming into the postseason with injuries. And Philadelphia, on the flip side, they are healthy. And so when you look at the injury report, whether you're watching, on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig, as we broadcast here on 97.3 ESPN FM, live from the Ocean Casino Resort Studios, you think about how healthy this team is. Could that really be the neutralizer? Could that really be what sets them apart for a playoff run? That of all the teams, they are the most healthy. That might be the number one thing. That might be the number one attribute in their favor. But there might be something else. Dominique Foxworth on the Dominique Foxworth Show made this comment about the Packers because the question is, and I asked this question on Monday here on 97.3 ESPN, and I'll propose it again. Were the Packers the best matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles? Dominique Foxworth, former NFL defensive back, says this.
With an injured quarterback and no Christian Watson, I think this team is weakened to a point where with the Eagles' flexibility defensively and their talent in the secondary, Christian Watson, I don't know that healthy Christian Watson would be enough to distort this Eagles defense, but there is nobody in the receiving core that's going to cause this Eagle defense any bit of concern going into this game. So they have the flexibility to approach this game any way they want.
The Packers have not had a great end of the season. Over the 5 games, the Packers offense was averaging 341 total yards a game, which is below their average of 370. Furthermore, the Packers were 2-3 in their final 5 games. So the Packers are coming into the postseason with an injured Christian Watson. He's done for the year. A often banged up Jordan Love at quarterback. Without their number 1 cornerback, Jair Alexander. And they have a losing record on the stretch of the season. And then, if you go over the entire season, they played 7 games against playoff teams. They were 2-5 in those games. They averaged 25 points per game. On the season, they averaged 27. So they didn't just struggle offensively in the last 5 games. They have struggled the entire year against better competition. And you heard Dominique Foxworth said the flexibility of the Eagles' offense. Do we not appreciate enough that the Eagles' defense is better than when these teams played earlier this year? Sal Paolantonio on 97.3 ESPN Radio yesterday said this.
They also fixed the defense, went back to harder tackling drills, longer practices, inserted Cooper DeJean. Quinyon Mitchell came into his own. Jalen Carter, in my view, is an all-pro at defensive tackle. And they're sending, a lot of people to the Pro Bowl on that defense, including Zach Bond, who's is an absolute revelation as a linebacker. And Zach Bond is close to leading the league in tackles. So they're a different defense. That game was the first game under the Vic Fangio defense.
It's a very interesting conversation because, again, it was Avonte Maddox in the slot, not Cooper DeJean. As Sal Paolantonio said, it was the first game that you had the Vic Fangio offense in action. We didn't know who and what half of these guys were going to be. He said it was a revelation that Zach Bond came out, had that big game that he did. Now we're talking about an Eagles defense with some of those guys being Pro Bowl selections, all pro potential guys. Think about it. Jalen Carter just got voted today by the NFL players to be the best interior defensive tackle in football. His own peers said, hey, this guy is the best. And even though he doesn't have the stats that look like it in terms of he's not top 5 in sacks or quarterback hits or tackles for loss, but he was the most double-team player in all of football this year. And so you have a Packers offense that has been inconsistent down the stretch, that has struggled at times against some of the best teams in football, going against a defense that Sal Paolantonio thinks is the best in football.
This team graded out number 1 on defense. They gave up the fewest yards. They have been taking the ball away every single game more and more. The way that Jalen Carter is playing, he's double-teamed more than any other defensive tackle in the NFL. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson, when his head is in the game, is one of the best center field safeties in the business.
Just think about that for a minute, what Sal Paolantonio is saying here. What Sal is saying is that the Eagles' defense is so good. So why aren't we talking about that more? Instead, we spent half the week talking about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and Jake Elliott a little bit. But yet, the Eagles have allowed the second fewest points in the NFL this year. The Eagles allowed the fewest total yards in the NFL, the fewest first downs in the NFL, the third lowest third down conversion rate against, and they were fifth best team defensively in the red zone. So for the Packers, with an offense that is not 100%, and an Eagles team that is healthy, maybe, just maybe, that is the real answer. The real answer for this game on Sunday. And listen, I have tried to separate myself and be objective, because here on 97.3 ESPN, we're not here to give you hot takes or give you spin zone or any garbage like that. And when I have heard former players like Darren Sproles, former Eagles running back like Chris Long, former Eagles defensive end, when I've heard former players talking about the Eagles, I've heard a lot of guys talk about how they expect the Eagles to blow out the Packers. And I'm like, I don't know if I see that, but I definitely think Philadelphia is the better team. And 9 times out of 10, the better team is going to win in a matchup, unless there is an extreme out-coaching scenario. And for Philadelphia, I don't really see a scenario where they could be out-coached. I think Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni are all at the level where they will not be out-coached by almost anyone. The last time in a playoff game the Eagles got out-coached was the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And frankly, Andy Reid is in the conversation for one of the best coaches to ever live. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive coordinators in postseason history. So, frankly, if you're going to be outcoached by somebody, you might as well get outcoached by the best of all time. At the end of the day, I think the Packers, the only reason why they have a chance in this game at all is because the Eagles are a slow-starting team that has a long history of not being the team that jumps out the big leads. Dan and EHT chimes in at 609-403-0973, says a healthy Eagles team is strong. You're right, Josh. Eagles versus Lions is going to be very interesting. You are right about Eagles versus Lions. If we do get that matchup, I will be fascinated to find out. You know, it really is a strength-on-strength situation, because I think that the reason why Aaron Glenn is getting a lot of conversation for head coaching jobs is because he has had some really good games as a defensive coordinator. Now, they've had some bad games as well. The Lions and Eagles both have great offensive lines. Both teams have great running games. Both teams have quarterbacks who have been to Super Bowls. Remember, Jared Goff got with the Rams to the Super Bowl years ago, and he got to the NFC Championship game last year. Jalen Hurts been to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So you have everything pretty even between those teams. We'll ask Dave Weinberg his perspective on the rematch between the Eagles and Packers this Sunday. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick calling all the action here in your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles playoff football. It's the Super Wildcard Round this Sunday, hosting the Green Bay Packers.
A.J. Brown to the 15, to the 10, the 5, touchdown! Hurst the Browns!
Oh, that's just fun to watch.
Eagles Radio Network coverage begins at 3 p.m. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 4:30. This is South Jersey's official home for Eagles playoff football. 97.3 ESPN.
Go get your game on at the Gallery Bar, Book, and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery, go to Fanatic Sportsbook, and go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated bench for football players. Today, Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning brings that same innovation and reliability to your home or business. Need plumbing repairs or a new gas furnace, boiler, or water heater? Ask about utility loans up to $25,000 at 0% for 7 years and rebates up to $29.50. Call 609-641-6440 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway, because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Winter is here. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Kelvy Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Kelvy Electric, the premier electrical contractor, serving South Jersey for over 110 years. Visit KelvyElectric.com today and stay ahead of any storm.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NHL, the Flyers back on the ice Thursday night as they take on the Dallas Stars. Dallas on a 5-game win streak, while the Flyers, they've lost 3 straight, losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs Tuesday 3-2. Travis Konechny with 20 goals on the season, scoring both goals for Philadelphia in the loss. The 76ers are home tonight as they take on Washington. Philadelphia has dropped 3 of their last 4 after they fell to the Phoenix Suns on Monday. Joel Embiid will miss tonight's game with a foot injury, sat out Monday against the Suns, and Paul George will also sit out against the Wizards. The Eagles facing the Green Bay Packers Sunday in the opening round of the NFL playoffs. Philadelphia a 2 seed. Quarterback Jalen Hurts practiced on Wednesday. He's coming off being in the NFL concussion protocol. The Packers have lost wide receiver Christian Watson due to an ACL injury. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
The 2025 Hercules Tires MAC Basketball Championships are returning to Atlantic City's iconic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall for the 6th consecutive year, March 11th through the 15th, featuring 22 men's and women's teams. The tournament is fun for the family, featuring a band jam, Spirit Squad showcase, Kids Day, and mascot game. Don't miss the chance to be a part of the action to see who will cut down the nets and earn a spot in the big dance. Visit MacSports.com/basketball for more information.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. After today, our high temperatures will mainly be in the 30s. Hey, it's better than 20s. We're still carefully tracking our next chance for snow, about 60 hours away on Saturday. Mainly clear tonight with a brisk breeze. Low at 21, the wind chill may dip into the single digits. Sunny and still windy tomorrow, high 32. Increasing clouds on Friday and not quite as cold, high of 38. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
I'm Merrill Reese from Mike's Seafood Polar Bear Run Walk for Autism in Sea Isle City. The Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism has been promoting awareness and raising funds for special service schools and families of special needs children. Come join over 5,000 participants in the 5K race and the family fun walk, followed by a great after party. Join us in huge heated tents where there will be great food, unbelievable door prizes, and the awards ceremony. The party is not just for the runners and walkers, it's for the entire family. They'll have clowns, superheroes, and face painters for the kids. For more information or to register, register, go to polarbearrunwalkforautism.com. That's polarbearrunwalkforautism.com.
Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 15th at JFK on the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Registration is from 9:30 to 11:30. Run Walk starts at noon. That's Saturday, February 15th at JFK on the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Any day you could do something for children with disabilities, it's a good day.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We'll check back in the text board a little bit later this hour. Keep them coming in at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. But right now, as promised, we are finally back on a normal schedule, which means Dave Weinberg is back for a Weinberg Wednesday. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com, as well as his 2-minute drill after every Eagles game. Dave, welcome back. How is Cape May with all this snow?
No, it's ridiculously cold and windy, and we got like 8 or 9 inches of snow. I was shoveling all day yesterday. I was not a happy camper yesterday, that's for sure.
See,
I'm
just so glad you said that, because I've been explaining to all of these Northerners, the non-Cape May County folk, that we got more snow than the Atlantic or Ocean counties. And these people are like, oh, well, I only had a couple inches. And I'm like, I'm digging myself out of my driveway on Monday just to get to work, to get to here, to the studio.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Everybody talks about the Cape May bubble and how, the major systems usually avoid us. But when we do get hit, we get hit hard. And yesterday was one of those times, or 2 days ago, I guess I should say.
Well, the reason why we say yesterday is because, our tax dollars weren't going to work, and they didn't have half the roads even taken care of. By the time I woke up Tuesday morning, I mean, I'm sitting there taking a long way to work just so I could drive on some normal roads.
Yeah, it was they had a lot of challenges ahead of them for that. That's for sure. I mean, our roads weren't terrible on Monday. I just never left the house. I mean, I refused. I have the same approach to shoveling snow as I do with raking leaves. I'm not doing it twice. So I wait till the last flake is on the ground. Then I get out my shovel and I do it. And that was yesterday. So the roads weren't terrible, but they were. The main roads were very good, but the back roads had a little bit left to be desired.
Well, sure, the Parkway was pristine, and
that's true.
Route 9 and Route 50 were in good shape for me, but I mean, like Tuckahoe Petersburg Road today was the first day I saw the street again in 3 days.
Yeah.
No one talks about that part.
Yeah, it's tough, especially like around where I live. The back streets are still a sheet of ice, so you really got to pay attention and take your time.
Yeah, that was last night for me. I was like, I'm driving around still carefully because I see some of the road conditions, and I'm like, I don't want to get hit with one of those black ice,
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep.
Not black ice is the Philadelphia Eagles, Dave, because despite the fact they had practice outside today. But by the way, I got to ask you this. So they asked Nick Sirianni at the press conference today why they were practicing at the link, and he said that apparently the weather did some havoc to the NovaCare field, and that they had to practice at the link today.
I'm surprised they didn't practice inside, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe I guess every coach has their own way of doing things, but most cases when I was there, I mean, if the conditions were that bitter, they practiced indoors just to get more out of it. I'm surprised that he would go outside at all, let alone the link.
Well, the good news is Jalen Hurts back at practice with a helmet on, running around, doing the throwing, doing the work, doing the steps.
Short sleeves, too, I heard. What a gamer, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably psychological. You know how these guys are.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yep, absolutely.
So with Hurts back, with Hurts ready to go, what is your first look at this game? Do you think Eagles-Packers, it's a rematch, but we know these teams are different than week one?
Yeah, I was a little surprised that it seems like just from reading social media and things I'm listening to and stuff, it seems like the Eagles fans are kind of expecting a blowout here. I don't think that's the case. I do think the Eagles are going to win, but I think it's going to be tougher than what people expect. I mean, the Packers certainly are going to be faced by the weather, right? I mean, considering they play in Lambeau, which is this makes this look like Cancun, for crying out loud. So And I just don't. I don't think they're going to be phased by the atmosphere either. I mean, the Eagles are the better team, and they should win the game. But I think it's going to be close. It's going to be closer than what people expect.
See, I think it's going to be close in the first half because the Eagles always start out slow, Dave. And you just got to think, like, I don't care who you are. If you have a history of starting out slow, you don't think that your quarterback not playing for a couple weeks isn't going to have some sort of negative. I mean, Saquon leads the NFL in rushing yards in the second half. Not the first half, okay? He's not great in the first half. So this team does take some time. You know, it's like one of those Chevy Chevelles. You have to warm it up for like 10 minutes before it's ready to go. And I feel like that's who the Eagles are.
You're not old enough to have a Chevy Chevelle. My goodness. Anyway,
I know what they are. I've seen them.
GTOs and Chargers, you know what these are? Okay.
Yeah, my pop-up used to have a Ford Mustang. Oh my goodness, it wasn't Shelby. It was Fastback. He had a Fastback.
Okay. All right. Okay. The fact that you're referring to, is this your grandfather?
My pop-up, yeah.
The way to make me feel old. Thanks very much. Okay. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the smart move for the Eagles would be to lean on Saquon right away, just to let Jaden get back in the swing of things, get his feet under him, so to speak, and because I think he's going to be rusty after missing a couple of weeks with his concussion. So, but you're right. They do start slow. So I don't know that you're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it on in the second half so easily like they did in the regular season. The playoffs are a different animal, and I think if the Packers get out to a lead, I think that might give them some extra confidence and maybe put the pressure on the Eagles a little bit.
By the way, in high school, at one point, I was driving a Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme from, I think it was 83.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. They're terribly young then. Okay.
Yeah, that thing was huge. So.
Oh yeah, they're like boats. Yep.
that was back in the day when if you got into a car accident with the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, the idea was what happened to the other car because your car would be fine.
What year did you graduate, by the way? I'm just curious.
2004.
Oh, okay. Same as my son. All right. As I put this thing on Twitter X yesterday, but if you want to feel old, remember that Cooper DeJean was 11 months old when that 4th and 26 happened with the Packers. And I just got like reams and reams of responses. Oh my God. I was, I was in kindergarten, and then other, older people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that he was that young, it's just, but time flies, you blink and 20 years go by.
Yeah. I was in high school when that happened. So.
Yeah, right. 2004, January 2004. Yep.
Yeah.
It's your senior year, I guess. Yep.
Oh man, what the heck happened? Anyway. But back to the current.
I hate to bum me out there.
It's fine. I listen. I got some gray and white hairs on me already, so I'm already seeing the visual. I still have the hair up top. I just don't. The hair on the sides is losing its color, so it's like.
Oh, there's a thing on Facebook going around where people think they ask you to think back 30 years ago, and automatically your mind drifts to 1970, but it's really 1994, and you're like, oh my God, what happened to my youth?
Well, you mentioned DeJean. I think DeJean is one of the biggest stories in this game because it was Avonte Maddox who started the game in Brazil, and now DeJean, ever since they brought him in, this defense is pretty much top 3 in almost every statistical category. So you got to think with an Eagles team, Dave, I mean, they are the healthiest they've been in months, basically. I mean, the only guy who didn't practice today was Trevor Keegan because he was sick. So he's got a stomach bug, apparently. So it's like, if the only guy who didn't practice is like the 3rd string guard, then, I mean, I'm assuming the Eagles are going to come into this postseason run, fully ready to go.
You would think so. I mean, there are no excuses here, right? I mean, like you said, they're healthy, they're well rested, so yeah, they should be able to hit the ground running. The only possible drawback is if Jalen struggles because he's not, quite back to his old self. But other than that, I mean, you're right. They're healthy at every position. Coming off a tremendous regular season, they're well rested, they're focused. So yeah, you expect to see the Eagles at their best on Sunday.
Talking with Dave Weinberg. Weinberg Wednesdays here on 97.3 ESPN. At Dave Weinberg 19 on the Twitter X platform. Extra point columns over at 97.3ESPN.com. His latest article recapping the highs and lows of the Philadelphia Eagles season. Dave, when you think about this season, how much of this season for you are we just looking at this season as we're almost saying, hey, April was like the classic preseason, that like back in the day, guys would play in the preseason, and then this year no one played in the preseason, and they treated September almost like the preseason because basically the best of this team has been from October to now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it took them a little while to get the kinks worked out. People were complaining when they were 2-2, and making mistakes, not firing on all cylinders. Obviously, defense was kind of gullible, and people were questioning whether Vic Fangio was the right move. And as everybody knows, he's been fantastic. And yeah, once they hit their stride, it took them a little while, but once they hit their stride, it was lights out. They had some bumps and stumbles along the way, but by and large, their last 13 games, 12 games were, that was among the best teams in the league, no question.
So this year is the fourth time the Philadelphia Eagles have won at least 13 games in a season. The previous three times they went to the Super Bowl. What is interesting, though, you mentioned about the defense, is that this is actually the second best points per game against of all of those teams. It was the 2014 that allowed 16.3 points a game, but this year they're allowing 17.8. Have we underrated this defense this year?
Underrated them? No,
we haven't talked about them enough.
Oh gosh, no, I think they've gotten talked about plenty.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand your point. I mean, the offense has such star power there with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, Saquon, of course, and they're able to put up 30, 35 if they want. But yeah, the defense is definitely on par with the offense as far as effectiveness and ability is concerned. I mean, you just found out today, I think Jalen Carter got all-pro recognition. You could argue that Zach Bond probably should have gotten something too. Corners have been, Kenyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean have been nothing short of sensational. If there's a weakness, maybe it's edge rushers, but not really. And I think they're poised to have a really good postseason. But then again, people can harken back to playing the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Speaking of years ago, and they were the top seed both times and didn't work out so well. So you still have to play the games, and then we'll see if the Eagles are really as good as people think.
Yeah, Jalen Carter, all pro from the NFLPA voting today, the players vote. Players said he was the best interior D tackle in all of football. So, I mean, it's interesting, Dave, because if you ask the average fan, well, what was his sacks? What was his this? Well, Jalen Carter was actually the most double-teamed player in all of football this season. So if other players around the league are saying, Dave, he is the scariest interior D lineman and everyone's double-teaming him, who cares what his stats are? If he could have that kind of impact in a playoff game, who cares if he gets sacks? Let everybody else do the work.
Right. I mean, defensive tackles by and large aren't expected to put up double-digit sacks anyway. I mean, you get Aaron Donald once in a while, Fletcher Cox had a couple of good years, and the Ndamukong Suh, same thing. But mostly they're kind of like doing the dirty work that allows the edge rushers and the blitzers that they get the sacks that pad their stats and stuff. But the only caveat I have with Jalen is like his maturity level. Yeah. It seems like he makes some really boneheaded decisions, and he's a little too confident, I guess would be the polite term for my liking. But maybe that just comes with youth. I don't know. Maybe he'll settle down and be a more of a leader. That's the only thing that can hold him back, though. I mean, as far as ability wise, he's as good as it gets.
I was listening to Chris Long on his Green Lake podcast, and he brought up the fact that he said that his only problem with Jalen Carter is that there's no veteran like him in the locker room that kind of like
true.
Maybe grab him by the face mask every once in a while, because Chris Long has always said that I'd rather have a guy I have to rein back in than a guy I have to amp up to get going.
Sure, yeah.
And,
Maybe
yeah,
Brandon Graham's that guy. I don't know, but I don't know how long. I don't know how often he's in. I don't know how often he's in the locker room now that he's injured. But
I gotta
yeah,
be
I mean,
honest, Dave.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just feel like Brandon Graham is such a nice human being.
He is.
I don't see him being like the guy to, bleepity blanket Jalen Carter. You
Oh
know what I mean?
no, definitely not. No.
That's why Chris Long says someone like him.
Oh, I got you.
Someone.
I got you. Yeah, somebody that would read the riot act. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not reading the riot act, but maybe just take him like privately to the side and be like, "Listen, you're a bad you know what, but I need you to rein it in a little bit, bro." Like, gotta think.
Right. Yep, that's true. Yeah, they do like that.
I think if there is a weakness for this team, Dave, maybe it is that, but people have been wondering, Dave, should we be concerned about Jake Elliott? This is a guy who had a career year last year. I mean, I was at the game on Sunday. He missed a 39-yard field goal, and like the whole stadium was confused. We were all looking around like, did he just miss that?
Yeah, I mean, granted, I think the wind was pretty bad there, right? But that's still, yeah.
Yeah, but he made a field goal later from that same direction, and it was perfectly down the middle. So it's like, I just got to think that there's got to be something going on with his mechanics or something.
Maybe he's injured. I don't know, but yeah, he's like 1 for 7 from 50 and out, and he's automatic from long distance. So that's concerning. That's the one problem that could maybe possibly doom the Eagles here is their place kicking because Jake used to be on the money. I mean, you count on him regardless of anything, but now all of a sudden there's that little doubt that maybe he'll shank one or double doink one or something, and that could be their downfall. I mean, they just got to hope that he can recapture the form that he's shown for the majority of his career and, discount the kind of the struggles he's had most of this season.
It's also bad news for the people who they lose their minds when Sirianni goes for it on fourth down, because if you're Sirianni, you have to go for it on fourth down more than you want to because you can't send Jake out there for the 52-yard field goal. Now, if it's 4th and 2, maybe you're leaving the offense out there.
Maybe. I mean, I deep down, I think you have to trust Jake to make that kick if it comes down to that. I mean, it depends on the situation and circumstances, obviously, but yeah, you do have a point there, though. I mean, if it comes down to like a long range field goal, first or second quarter, maybe you do go for it just to take some of the pressure off of Jake and try and get a little bit closer or get into the end zone.
Dave, before I let you go, assuming the Eagles get past the Packers, what is the team in the NFC field that scares you, worries you the most for the Eagles?
Not counting the Lions, I guess, right?
You can say whoever you want. I mean,
the Lions are going to win the conference in my view. I just think they are. I just think they're a team of destiny. They've overcome so much. I think if they get to the final, they're winning it and going to the Super Bowl. But if you're asking me if there's another team that I think they should worry about, it's the Buccaneers. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head, what the seeding thing is, but the Buccaneers are the mentally toughest team in this field. They just find a way, and I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. He doesn't get fazed by anything, no matter what the score is, what the situation is. He finds a way, and the Buccaneers know they can beat them. They've already done it this year. They did it last year in the playoffs. They've done it before. I think that's the team that the Eagles have to worry about the most.
By the way, the Buccaneers are the 3 seed in the postseason. I think the Bucs are the scariest team for everyone because the Bucs this year, they beat the Lions, they beat the Eagles, they made life miserable for every playoff team. Remember, Baker Mayfield went to Kansas City, he almost beat the Chiefs with no Evans and no Godwin.
Right.
I mean, I literally have Baker Mayfield. We did a rankings list earlier on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, and I got Baker Mayfield my 5th best quarterback in the playoff field. Like, I think that guy is absolutely fearless. And, there's only one of the, okay, that one. There's 2 other guys in football that I am more worried about. If there's a 2-minute drill, it's a tie game than Baker Mayfield. Like, to me, he is that level right now of just, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do what it takes to win for my team. And I think that guy is dangerous for these classically built football teams that, you don't want to let a team like the Bucs stay in it.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, Baker's a gamer. He really is, and there's no fear, there's no wavering with him. And no matter I hate to say the cliche, but you throw the stats out the window when it comes to him because he may not look the prettiest. He might not, throw a tight spiral or whatever, but if you want a touchdown in the last 2 minutes of a game, I think he probably is the most likely guy to give it to you.
I mean, on my list, I said the only two guys I'm more scared of with a tie game with 2 minutes to go, Dave, are Mahomes and Stafford than Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a good comparison. Yep, that's true.
Because to me, Mahomes, I mean, we all believe he's the best quarterback on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Stafford, I mean, that guy's got more fourth quarter comeback wins than anybody active in the NFL right now.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're both good choices. Yep. I would put Mayfield right up there with those guys, though. I would.
Yeah. Dave Weinberg, at Dave Weinberg 19 on the Twitter X platform. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. And, of course, this Sunday will be his 2-minute drill following the Eagles-Packers game. Dave, stay warm. It's supposed to be more cold wind the next couple of days, so take care of yourself, all right?
As long as there's no more snow, please. But thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it, as always, and I'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Dave Weinberg joins us each week here on 97.3 ESPN. As promised, back to text board coming up next. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, and also live on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Could be jab step jumper. It's good. He buries it. His 13th field goal.
It's Sixers Wizards tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
It's in the air and it's good. A triple. Ring the bell.
May old car problems be forgot in a brand new SUV.
Matt Black Kia with over 1,100 new Kias, like the all-wheel drive Kia Sportage or Sorento SUV. 0 down, 0 payments until March, or 0% for 48 months. So bring any trade, because if you have a job clearing $450 per week, you're practically approved during the Season of New Traditions sales event. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Black Kia wants to get you released. New Kia K4, just $159 per month lease with 0 security deposit and only $36.95 due. Matt Black Kia, your PA and New Jersey Kia go-to, with over 1,100 new Kias to choose from. Matt Black Kia, Abington, Egg Harbor Township, Toms River, or right to your front door.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With approved credit, $13.89 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details, or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Through KMF. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 1/14/25. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated bench for football players. Today, Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning brings that same innovation and reliability to your home or business. Need plumbing repairs or a new gas furnace, boiler, or water heater? Ask about utility loans up to $25,000 at 0% for 7 years and rebates up to $29.50. Call 609-641-6440 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five. Yeah.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years!
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five!
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Hello, Jersey. This is Shaquille O'Neal. You all know Jersey is my home state, and I've got something special for you. Introducing my first ever scratch-off game, Jersey Giant Winnings, from the New Jersey Lottery, with a top prize of $200,000. And guess what? I'm officially renaming the state Shaq Jersey. You're Shaq Jerseyans now. Play the Jersey Giant Winnings scratch-off.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
The Eagles are headed to the playoffs. Congratulations to the entire Eagles organization. It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. We're proud to be the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles. Come join us for all the Eagles playoff action and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, all of your Chicky and Pete's favorites, and of course, world famous crab fries. Perfect for Eagles playoffs. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour, with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Don't forget the Sixers are back in action tonight here on 97.3 ESPN. It's like the battle of attrition tonight, because both the Sixers and the Wizards have ruled out numerous players for tonight's game. No Embiid, no Paul George, no Andre Drummond tonight. So your starting lineup is Tyrese Maxey, Eric Gordon, Gershon Yabusele, Caleb Martin, and Kelly Oubre. Tom McGinnis calling the action, coming up in about 12 minutes here on 97.3 ESPN, your home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers, as well as NFL primetime games from Westwood One here in South Jersey. A couple texts to get to here before we wrap up the hour. George from Summers Point chimes in on the text board at 609-403-0973. Says, I agree with your point about the Eagles starting slow this season. I think I am confident in them beating Green Bay as long as the offense does not try to play solo hero ball. If they are behind, then just play within the abilities they have shown this season. That's from George in Summers Point. George, I think that's an interesting point because, one of the points that someone like myself has given Kellen more credit for is that while the Eagles' opening script of plays is not great, we have seen that the Eagles have made great adjustments in game. They have stuck with the run. They have not abandoned it. And it's part of the reason why Saquon has 2,000 rushing yards this year is because the Eagles said, look, we're going to keep running it until he breaks 1 or 2 or 3, and that's how we're going to win some of these games. The other thing is that the Eagles have showed us in games that if they can get that play-action game going, fake the run, get the ball to A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert, they can be very effective. So I think at the end of the game, like I said, Dave Weinberg, my lean right now is this is going to be a close first half, and the Eagles pull away in the second half kind of game, because I think that at the end of the day, the Eagles are the better football team. They're the more talented football team, but they start slow. And go back to that Cleveland Browns game. That Cleveland Browns game, Philadelphia did start out slow basically the whole game. It was halftime. After halftime, they finally started getting going and started playing like the Eagles again, and you look through the rest of the season, how many games? Almost every game. First quarter of the game, sluggish, slow starting. It was the second, third, and fourth quarter where the Eagles' offense really took control of those games. Jeff from Ocean City chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, we are the better team. Just don't go down 14-0 to the Packers. That's from Jeff in Ocean City. Jeff, you're right. You don't want to get down big to a team like the Packers. I just look at Philadelphia, and I see a team that they have an identity. And if they play within the means of their identity, they are going to win a lot of games. And I know that sounds very simplistic and very basic, but the way I look at this Eagles team is this. The Philadelphia Eagles are a team that they have shown you they can win games in multiple ways. The Packers have not. The Packers really have two ways of winning games. They either keep it really close and turning into a rock fight, or they try to outscore you. So if those are the two ways they can win games, and they can't really win a game any other way, you got to take them out of their element. And I think that's where the Eagles defense comes into this conversation. The Eagles defense can take them out of their element. The Eagles defense can make life miserable for them. And as I've always said about the Philadelphia Eagles, I look at the Eagles as their own worst enemy. They lost to Washington because C.J. Gardner-Johnson got thrown out of the game. Not because Kenny Pickett screwed up. They lost the game to the Bucs earlier this year because they basically couldn't handle the heat down in Tampa. They lost the game to the Saints because Saquon Barkley drops the ball, and the Eagles' defense, frankly, looked horrible during the final 2 minutes of the game. So if Philadelphia is a team that has shown you that as long as they don't beat themselves, they can beat anybody. And I think that is why Philadelphia is considered one of the favorites to win the division. Now, you heard Dave Weinberg say for him, it's the Lions. And frankly, I don't think that is a crazy thing to say because, as Dave said, he's looking at it as they're a team of destiny. He's looking at it as they are a team that has shown you that no matter what the odds are, they overcome. And that's why over at the Caesars Sportsbook, they are plus 120 to win the NFC are the Lions. Number 2 of the Eagles at plus 305. So when you think about it, if you go through the NFC teams, those are the two overwhelming favorites. The Vikings, the Packers, the Bucs, and the Rams are much further down the line. I think, but I said earlier, I think the Bucs are the most dangerous team. They are the team that can go to someone else's house and take out their guys. And if you are an Eagles fan, okay, if you are a Philadelphia Eagles fan, Sunday night after the Eagles beat the Packers, you have to become the biggest Washington Commando fans of all time. You got to cheer for those Commanders, those commies down in Washington to beat the Bucs. Because let me tell you something. If the Commanders take out the Bucs, it does you two favors. Number one, Washington will then go to Detroit, and the winner of the Vikings-Rams game comes to you. That's the first positive. The second positive is that Washington is so young at the quarterback position. He is so fearless. He is so talented. He himself could take out the Lions in the second round. So Washington could help you two ways. They can take out the Bucs and the Lions. And frankly, we all know that if the Rams or Vikings come to Philadelphia in the divisional round, that is a game that Philadelphia is very much favored in because they beat the Rams earlier this year, and they showed you they have the talent to offset a lot of what the Rams do well. And then the Vikings, I think the Vikings are a team that does not want to come to Philadelphia because I think that Philadelphia's defense could be a problem for them. Thanks, Dave Weinberg, for joining me on the show today. Coming up Tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN, Mike Gill will be live at Chickies and Pete's for his Sports Bash Thursday on 97.3 ESPN. I know tomorrow he has Ross Tucker coming on the show. I will have Ted Nugent from The Athletic. He's their NFL writer and also film analyst. We'll get his perspective on deeper about the Packers versus the Eagles as well as the NFC as a whole. Coming up next, Sixers basketball here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.
This Sunday, come join us at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton, New Jersey for our Eagles pregame show. Josh Henning and former Eagles tight end Ken Dunnick and I will get you ready for the Packers wildcard game. We'll get the keys to the game with Fox 29 News sports anchor Scott Grayson, brought to you by Blitz's Market. Plus, my fantasy football guru Brian Hartley checks in with his fantasy picks, brought to you by Charlie's Bar. It's our Eagles pregame show live at Chicken or the Egg in Marlton, New Jersey, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.